There's something coming, and nobody's talking about it. Even though the articles warning about it are all over the internet. Because everybody is so hyper-focused on the bless your heart movement, they're not seeing what's coming. And trust me, in October and early November, right before the election, it's going to change everything. It's going to change the entire landscape. Politicians and pundits have long believed that people make up their mind about who they're going to vote for a month, 2 months ahead of time. Maybe later. Now, with this, it's going to be a matter of days. And things are going to change dramatically. This is what I'm talking about. They are talking now about 40% increases in the premium rates. That means if you're paying $500 a month now for the plan, you'll be paying $700 a month for it. Think about that across the board. People are not going to be able to afford it. They're going to have to choose. And it's not going to happen in a vacuum. They're going to have to choose between Christmas and signing up. There are going to be protests. And they're going to try to lay this at the feet of the current government when they won't be able to, because it's called Obamacare. And then all of a sudden, names like Yang and Gabbard are going to start to come back to the forefront. People who were talking about Bernie Sanders. People who were talking about going all the way to single payer, government-run healthcare during COVID and because of COVID. This is the reason the increases are coming. I just want to give a quick shout out, though, to somebody who called this a long time ago. This is Patriot Nurse. Not only is she a trained, qualified RN, she's also a patriot. And she talked about this years ago, that this day would come unless repeal and replace happened. Repeal and replace, huge plank in 2016, didn't occur. And it just got left. And mark my words, it's going to get ugly. People are going to have to talk about, do I cash in my 401k? Do we sell the house? What do we do? With businesses already teetering on the edge of existence, bars and restaurants and gyms and all these other places, this will be the nail that does it. This will be the one that completely collapses the economy. It's going to make every other consideration in the election seem irrelevant. And whoever is in charge for the next 4 years is going to inherit this nightmare. And no matter what they do, they're going to be slimed with this nightmare. And I can think of nobody more deserving of that slime than Joe Biden. Because he was part of the architecture of this. I could tell you a story about, personally, I wish I was comfortable giving you the details about how those 8 years of Barack Obama nearly destroyed our lives. I think we could have made a better choice than the current guy, but this is Federal News Network. Next big health shocker, your 2021 FEHBP premiums. Although it's too early to speculate about numbers, some experts in health insurance have projected that premiums overall for Americans could rise by 40%, if not more. Business can't handle this, guys. People can't handle this. This is benefitspro.com. ACA Exchange warns of 40% or more premium increase in 2021. Here's a third source, healthcaredive.com. Healthcare, double digits. And another one using the 40% number is, this is Salon. Cost increases as high as 21% and 40% premium hikes. That's what's coming. That's what's coming. And when that rolls out November 1, everything is going to change. And people are going to say, well, that'd be great for Mr. Trump. No, it wouldn't. Because the problem is going to be whoever inherits it is going to have to address it and fix it. And with the huge cries for single payer, Mr. Trump would have to be the architect of that. There will be no going back to the way things were before or some modified quote-unquote Republican plan. You want to hang the chain of single payer around the neck of Joe Biden or any other parentheses D or whoever the VP is. I don't care. And then in 4 years, when everything is way worse, way worse, then Trump's son can step up. By that time, I think Mr. Trump will have had enough. And he'll also have had 4 years to do Triggered or Trump TV or whatever he's going to do to sit and talk about this privately with people without the filter of CNN, without the filter of Fox, without the filter of all that other stuff. And the gloves can come off. People will not choose Obamacare over Christmas. People will not look at their kids and say, sorry, we wanted to buy you all of these things, but because of the increases in healthcare rates, we can't. They're going to buy them anyway. They're going to buy them anyway. And they say, well, the government just give us insurance because this is a national emergency and COVID this. And that's what they're going to say. That is absolutely what they're going to say. Now, there's a movie that kind of dovetails with this. I know people are like, wait a minute, how did we just go from talking about Christmas and Obamacare and the election to Heartbreak Ridge? Well, the story of Heartbreak Ridge is this old gunnery sergeant gets assigned to a platoon of guys that had been not shepherded properly. They hadn't been trained properly, and they were lazy, and they were really basically just civilians in uniform. And he comes in, and he tries to square everything away, but he gets, pressure from above, pressure from below. Now in the movie, they have to have the happy ending, where he ends up fixing things. But to do this, to make an omelet, you got to crack some eggs. And in a movie setting, in the military, it makes for great entertainment. But in the real world, you don't want to be that guy. You see, we're not there yet. Ideally, what we want is in 2024 is for someone to step up to the plate and say, see, this is what you get. You got your way. You had your protests. You got your single payer. You got all this. And look at the giant mess we're in. And believe me, when people go without, really go without things for 4 years, this could be the end of the parentheses D party. If we make what I referred to as the dad decision yesterday, hand this steaming pile of crap that's coming down the road to this inept, inane, partially mentally compromised Joe Biden and let him flounder and trip all over himself for 4 years. And people will wake up and people will realize, man, things were a lot better 17, 18, 19, and part of 20 than they are now. And then we have them. Then we have them. We'll always have that 4 years to point to, the coming 4 years. To say, look, this is what you got when you let this guy be in charge for 8 years, meaning Barack Obama, and then you let his vice president be in charge for 4. This is what you got. Mr. Trump, as talented as he is in business, cannot fix the next 4 years. He can't do it. It's not possible to be done. Business is already too damaged. Unemployment is too high. When the Obamacare premiums hit, that's going to be the death knell. Stock market's going to collapse. Let them have the pile of steaming you-know-what to deal with. And afterwards, we're going to be able to take back this country, and maybe permanently. But it's going to take, and the reason I use these pictures, it's going to take some real pain. It's going to take some real discomfort. But we've got to be the ones that look down the road, win the long race. And that's why I brought up this picture. This is where these guys had all taken off sprinting and he was just jogging slowly. And eventually they all ran out of gas and he just kind of cruised on by them. This is the best analogy I could come up with for what we need to do in the next 8 to 12 years. Right now, the way things are, you don't want anybody whose political opinion you value anywhere near Washington, D.C. Because whoever that guy is, whoever sits in that chair next year, it is a lose, lose, lose proposition. There will be no fixing anything for a while, for quite a while. 4 years after that, after the suffering, after the pain, after the loss, it'll be real clear what the right decision is. So that's what I wanted this video to be about. Show what's coming, show what the right solution is, and show why it's the right solution. And I'll leave it there. Like, share, subscribe.